Hey there, it's Cody Huwa here. This is my presentation for my business administration class, and we're going to talk about the importance of communication today. Um, it's kind of funny that this topic came up today because in our sales class, we are actually talking about the 8 steps of sales. And when I got this topic and talking about the importance of communication and building a relationship and things like that, it fell right into place. So it's pretty cool how that all works out. So I kind of want to start there. The 8 steps of sales that we learned in class actually yesterday were to prioritize a partner, to build the strategy, build a relationship, define the needs, establish the values you can provide them, ask questions after, close the sale, and then the follow-up. And each one of those steps to me involves a relationship, and it involves talking, communicating, and building upon that. So individually, every one of those is important and revolved around a relationship. And as a whole, it just carries on and things grow over time because of the relationship. And that's why it's so crucial. In my experience, I'm on the rodeo team here at OSU, and one little example that I have is that in the Western industry, you have to get your horses shoed. You have to put a metal shoe on there so that they stay healthy and up to condition. And so there's 2 scenarios. One is a guy who has this awesome rig that is decked out platinum, cool, like looks the part, marketing, sales, everything about it just makes you want to say yes to him. Well, there's this older gentleman that doesn't have the nicest rig, a little beat up, a little out of date and kind of things like that. Real simple, uses tools, things like that. And if I didn't know the older gentleman, I would have picked the guy with the nicer rig, the nicer equipment, the things like that, just because of looks and presentation. And that is a huge part of why people buy and why people sell. But the relationship I had with this older gentleman is really the reason why I went with him. And that's what it comes down to, is building a relationship. And in these situation scenarios that you can get in sometimes, is it comes down to that relationship of knowing somebody rather than maybe being able the better looking option. Also, so we were asked to have 3 points in this, and the beginning of mine, it kind of goes your natural communication skills. This last winter, I had the opportunity to sit down with a sales rep, the head of sales for Kimes Ranch Apparel. A great guy. I've got to know him over time, but I didn't know him going into this. It was kind of like a cold call, but in person. But I had the opportunity to meet him at the Denver market. And so we get there, we get into things, and for me, it's always about being positive, being smiley, being easily approachable, and then finding something that you can relate to with that person. Whether it's family, asking about kids, asking about a significant other, what they like to do in their free time, or also the things that you do within the business world. So I kind of go from there and start there and then build from that. And from there, just that one time that we hung out, and that day we grew over time. We had a few more sales calls. We had the opportunity to do some business together, some smaller business, nothing real big, but we were still building that relationship every day, gaining on it every time we talked and moved and something was happening. So we gained trust that way, we gained respect and things like that. So the communication is huge when it comes to that and building the relationship in itself. And then over time, within that relationship, like I said, we had multiple calls, a couple business deals, and then we actually got to hang out in person a couple more times. We went to the NFR, which is the National Finals Rodeo, in December, where like the top of the top come and there's huge shows, people everywhere, and it's just an awesome experience. Highly recommend it. But we got time to hang out there in the suite and get to know each other on a higher level and more personal, meet his family, meet some of his associates and things like that. And from there, that relationship has just grown even more over time. And now we're at the level where, hey, we're calling each other talking about family rather than business. Or when we do talk about business, it's doing it for your friend, and you're more acceptable to want to do it for them because they are your friend and you respect them and you know that they would do the same for you. So it all starts with this first day, the first time that you communicated, built this relationship, and then growing over time. And then going into after those situations, once you've built it and you are on that friend basis or you're well established and trust and things like that, why also one of the most important things of that is to me is because you never know what's going to come from a relationship with an individual that has a relationship with somebody else. And in this situation about the story with this guy named Garrett and the Kimes Ranch is we had an opportunity to work with them, and he knew some people at another retail store that they provided sunglasses, so we got to know them. Well, now we're doing business with them. My family also puts on a huge charity now, and they're both becoming sponsors. So these things just build, and none of that would have been able to happen without this relationship with this guy named Garrett. So the main point here, and my biggest talking point, is the importance and the respect within a relationship itself, and why it's important and where you can go. One of the biggest things I would like to hit on here is most people say it's not what you know, it's who you know, but it's really not what you know, but who knows you. And when you can go and turn that around and you can go into a crowd and somebody knows you, that is important. And then they have respect for you and trust in you, they will carry that on to other people, and your business might grow and your opportunities can arise all the time. So build on your relationships. You never know that when they're going to come into play. Grow on them, build on them. There's a door to be open. You might as well go through it with all you got. Thank you.